Don't look now, Disney investors, but Walt Disney World Resort, the most important asset in the company's quiver, might be shivering out in the cold as Christmas has come and gone, and audiences did not respond, guests did not come, as we might have expected from historical trends of old. Instead, it's looking a little bit not like Christmas this year, and not like any December we ever remember before. Well, folks, we are back yet again. Another video of excellence on the way as we continue to parse through the sparse crowds of the Walt Disney World Resort. Yet again, another month is not a win, and this is a trend that investors perhaps should be looking at. It will not make them grin, but it does make us make another video for you to bring the truth your way as best we can. Folks, as we get ready to dive into the data, consider clicking the like button, and here we go. We're going to be using some live info, so there's no telling how this goes, but we will go to WDW Magic to begin our journey looking at a situation where Disney needs to hit capacity levels of crowdedness for the remainder of the year in order to make their investors happy. In a prior video, we showed how the attendance at Disney World has not done what it should do for December. We released that video on Christmas Day. It's done quite well. And we showed that according to ThrillData.com, Disney World wait times have not jumped in December like usual. So how did things go for Christmas? Well, there's more than meets the eye, and here's what we're finding out. Christmas Day wait times at Walt Disney World, Tron leads with 3-hour queue. Again, this out of WDW Magic, and you would think when you see that perhaps that means that crowds were insane. A 3-hour wait for rides? Wow! Well, let's read further in. Christmas Day at Walt Disney World often brings large crowds, festive energy, and extended wait times in 2024. Come on, WDW Magic. Help us help you. Help us help you. 2024 is no different. By 3 p.m., many attractions across all 4 parks are reporting longer standby waits. However, the majority of rides, here you go, folks. This is what you need to know. The majority of rides are under 100 minutes, making them quite manageable for a peak holiday. Well, that doesn't go along with the headline, does it? Trends across the parks. This is talking about on Christmas Day. High demand for headliners. Newer attractions and timeless classics dominate the wait time charts across all parks. Says that meet and greets were popular. Balanced crowds across parks. Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios have the longest waits for marquee attractions, while Epcot and Animal Kingdom maintain a more manageable balance, ideal for families looking to spread out. So on Christmas Day, Tron topped the charts with 180-minute wait. However, folks, why is it that Tron would be at 180 and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train would be at 105? Oh, I know the answer. Because see, I reached out to some folks. And what I found out is that Tron may have been having some issues that resulted in the 180-minute wait time. Oh. So Tron got a 180-minute wait time, but that's the only one doing anything like that. Because all the others were down there at more normal waits. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train being at 105 minutes, that's not something that's out of the ordinary for a normal high crowd day. But it's nothing like what you would see if we were at absolute capacity. Space Mountain was barely over an hour. Meet and greets were under an hour. In other words, it was crowded, you betcha. But this Tron line seems to have been created by, well, technical difficulties perhaps. So how are things going the day after with Magic Kingdom? Well, let's take a look, folks. As of right now, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a 1-hour wait. Remember, this is the day after Christmas, and we are pulling these times at 1 p.m. Eastern. This should literally be the most crowded that Magic Kingdom could possibly be today. You can get on Dumbo in 35 minutes. You can get on Haunted Mansion in 35 minutes. You can get on Jungle Cruise in 1 hour. You can get on The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in 10 minutes. Take a look at Epcot. Ready? Again, folks, these are live at 1 p.m. Eastern, the day after Christmas, a Thursday. Frozen is 1 hour. Grand Fiesta Tour is 20 minutes. You can get on Figment in 30. You can get on Living with the Land in 30. Remy's, which is the biggest thing they've got there in terms of lines, 75 minutes. Soarin' somehow is at 90. We're going to assume technical difficulties. And Spaceship Earth is down. If we go over to Hollywood Studios, what do we see, folks? Again, day after Christmas, 1 p.m. Alien Swirling Saucers, 45 minutes. Mickey and Minnie's Runway is 1 hour. Smuggler's Run, no plants included, 65 minutes. Okay, and this is what we typically see over at Hollywood Studios. There are so few attractions that all the attractions have longer wait times. So Hollywood Studios, I would not presume that it's more crowded than the other parks today, but just as always, it probably feels more crowded. And then finally, if we go to Animal Kingdom, Avatar is way up there. That's a 2-hour wait. Dinosaur is just 40. Expedition Everest is under an hour. It's Tough to Be a Bug is a walk-on. Cali River Rapids is 40. Kilimanjaro, 1 hour. Navi River Journey. I am so sorry if you waited an hour for that. I am so sorry. And Triceratop Goodbye Spin, 15 minutes. No wonder it's on the way out. But, Ron, I'll go to you first. What this indicates to me is that the day after Christmas, we are not seeing capacity level crowds. Otherwise, I don't see how Haunted Mansion is at 35 minutes. I don't see how. Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Well, I was going to say I've worked there on Christmas Day. I've worked at the Magic Kingdom on Christmas Day in the past. And let me tell you, driving out of there when you get off your shift is horrible. Like I think it was a 3-hour wait for me to get out, like to get onto the highway, to get to the part where I could actually start driving home was like 2 hours. It was horrible. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But that was pre-2020, pre-2019. So what would always happen, and I'm not saying like it was maybe one year was different than another. Every single year on Christmas Day, on the day after Christmas, on the day after that, pretty much through the 2nd or 3rd of January, the park would hit capacity, complete capacity at like 9 or 10 a.m. Then they would start blocking people out of the park. And they said, you cannot come in. We are at capacity. That is how the Magic Kingdom is supposed to operate, and pretty much all the other parks. I don't know that it would necessarily happen at Epcot because Epcot's huge. It has a lot of capacity, but there's no way. Like I was checking on my Disney Experience app the wait times. I mean, it's the People Mover is 5 minutes. You can it's a walk on right now on the People Mover. It's really crazy to me to see this honestly on December the 26th, and all I've seen for the entire month are postings of it's not busy. The park's not busy. I can get on this. So that it's been surprising. When I went there, what was it? A week and a half ago, whatever it was, the last day that we could go before I was blocked out, and we went over to Hollywood Studios. I think it was a posted 35-minute wait. We did this live. I was live streaming. It was a posted 35-minute wait for Slinky Dog, and we waited 35 minutes and got on. And again, this was the lead up to Christmas, and that was Slinky Dog at the Hollywood Studios, which, as you can see, it's 110 minutes now. Yes, these wait times should be up, and some of the higher ones are where they should be, but every single ride, I don't think, honestly, a 5-minute wait right now today for People Mover, it should be at least a 25 to 30-minute wait for People Mover, and then everything else should scale up from that. Space Mountain being under an hour wait on the day after Christmas is beyond nuts to me. I know that they have other rides, and Tron is next to it now, but Space Mountain should be a 75-minute plus wait the day after Christmas. This is weird. For it, I don't know. It's very, very strange to see the Walt Disney World parks like this Christmas week. And I'm not saying that they're not busy, but if they're not literally hitting capacity and kicking and stopping people from coming in, there's something wrong. Seriously.
And as you pointed out, Ron, we've looked at the charts from Thrill Data, and we can pull those up in just a minute, but they have to hit capacity from here on out to pull that December number up to what they need for the investors. And there may be people listening to this video. There may be people in the chat who say, oh, wait a minute. I was at Disney, or I talked with somebody who was at Disney, the day before Christmas, and they said it was crowded. Christmas Eve was crowded. Folks, you got to understand the way we look at this is different from the average person. So we know what capacity looks like versus what really crowded looks like. And Disney needs to hit capacity. And capacity is shoulder to shoulder. It's not fun. A capacity day for the guest is not enjoyable. That's what we're talking about. And they need that because their December has been so bad. Vash, can you weigh in a little bit on what you're seeing with these wait times?
Yeah, I am quite surprised that these wait times aren't necessarily higher, especially for Walt Disney World. Around this time, Ron is exactly right. Usually these parks would actually have to deny entry to people. That's just simply not what we're seeing. Disneyland, it's kind of a similar story as well. Disneyland, yeah, I mean, you saw wait times, I think, for Radiator Springs Racers up to 130 minutes. The Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over there at about 120 minutes, largely due to the fact that Disney California Adventure doesn't have that many attractions by itself. But now, just checking the wait times here today, day after Christmas, the wait times have largely normalized. I think it's 35 minutes for Tiana's Bay Adventure at this point. I think 65 for actually 45 for Indiana Jones Adventure, 40 for Space Mountain. I mean, that's a pretty low day there.
Let me show you this real quick.
And it's very unusual.
I think you'll be interested in this. Please. 2022, what was the highest wait time, thus we believe most crowded month of the year? December. 2023, what was the highest month for wait time, thus we believe most crowded month of the year? December. In 2024, what are we seeing? Historically low.
Yeah.
And it is currently, even despite now Christmas factored in, it's below November. I mean, folks, take a look at these drop-offs. Look at this. 46-minute average wait time in 2022. 42-minute average wait time in 2023. Less than 30-minute wait time average in 2024. And the wait times, we believe, have gone up because of the way the lines are managed. So, is it crowded? Sure. Is it capacity? No. And investors, they need capacity days the rest of the way to save this year for the Disney parks, for Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Vash, I'll let you continue on. I wanted to show this so people could understand what we're looking at.
Absolutely. And this is also why Disney, I think, has been attempting to increase that per cap at Walt Disney World specifically because the crowds have been so low. We've been talking about, I think, over the past real year on that park place, how they've reimagined the DAS system in order to encourage more Lightning Lane sales that way, how they've reimagined Lightning Lane yet again, now going with a single pass, multi-pass type structure, and then obviously the introduction of Premier Pass. We saw during this week, I believe, several days at several parks actually sell out of that Premier Pass. This is all an attempt to increase the spending because, well, they really don't have the amount of guests actually coming in. They have to offset that revenue fall off right there. It's going to be really interesting to see what the experiences division actually brings in because I really do think their per cap is going to be hurt tremendously by this fall off of attendance during this what is historically a very profitable month for the Walt Disney Company, especially at their parks division. Disneyland as well. I think their per cap is going to be dropping off there too.
Jonas, they made an announcement just ahead of this, and Disney would know if their attendance was going to be off. They made an announcement just before we start seeing the actual crowd levels. And that can have a major impact on the stock. Remember that Disney World is something like 1/3 of their entire profits for the company. Jonas, they announced Bluey is coming to parks and experiences, but that has been carried by the press as of late in a way that I think is not great because I don't think it's accurate. Could you walk us through what's going on with the Bluey acquisition in terms of licensing? And do you think that is going to be a sufficient answer to Epic Universe opening next year, which could further drop the crowd levels at Disney's most important asset?
Well, I'm gonna push back on a word choice that you made there. You said Bluey acquisition, which is of course the phrasing that Disney would love to hear us say. The words Disney has bought Bluey. They definitely don't have the rights to Bluey in a way that would indicate that it's been acquired. There was an announcement that said that Disney Experiences is getting Bluey. And what that headline is supposed to read as the drive-by media would like you to believe that means that Disney got the theme park rights to Bluey. And technically, they did. But in actuality, if you look at the announcement from Ludo, they said, oh, it looks like you'll be able to see Bluey on some cruise ships that are Disney cruise ships sailing out of New South Wales, which is New Zealand, and Australia, which is not the same as Disney is getting Bluey in the theme parks. There might be a couple of activities that happen on Disney World Resort property down there in Orlando, but in reality, what's going on here is they're trying to make it look like they got the biggest children's property in the world that they don't own into Disney parks. It's a thing where Disney would lie if the truth would sound good, you know.
So you're saying that we should not be looking for a Bluey expansion land?
No, and heaven help them. I really hope that they never do a Bluey land at a Disney park. Although Disney would go ahead and dedicate, they are looking for something to destroy in order to put Bluey in. Probably the castle. Just get rid of the castle, you know.
But now, lest anyone think that we're just totally negative, Disney did get the distribution rights for the Bluey movie, so that was good.
Yes, they did. They did. They actually have a producer at Disney who is technically the producer on top of this production here. Sorry, I don't know my Australia geography. New South Wales is Australia, not New Zealand.
You mean to tell me, Jonas, we've been corrected, and it's actually half the countries we named. You said Australia and New Zealand. It's just Australia now for the cruises.
Yeah. And what's even more impressive is that they read it upside down since they are on the other side of the world.
So there you go, folks. The announcement that Disney Parks and Experiences was getting Bluey really was that cruise lines leaving Australia that have Disney cruise on their name, which currently Disney doesn't have any Australian cruises, those one day will get Bluey. That was the announcement, Jonas.
A Bluey meet and greet. That's right.
From cruises that don't exist yet.
Yes.
But it's under the Parks and Experiences.
We'll be putting on costumes that are Bluey shaped on those cruises.
But it's under the Parks and Experiences division, so it looks like that Bluey's coming to the parks.
Yes. I'm not saying they'll never come to the parks, but all you have to do is look at Ludo's announcement to realize things are not quite how they seem on the Disney side.
They named the domestic parks in that press release that they released, not on Disney Parks blog, which you would normally find something like that at, but on the Walt Disney Company website, which was very interesting. My thing is, well, I mean, you really didn't detail what those experiences were. I mean, most likely they're going to be meet and greets for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Well, Disney being cheeky as always. All right, folks, we see some big time super chats out there. We've got to get to them. Jonas, let's put them up on the screen while we can.
That's right. Master of Puppets for $5. A complete unknown are lyrics from Dylan's A Rolling Stone. Well, I'm not a Dylan fan, so that explains why I missed that one. Thank you.
What's wrong with you, Jonas?
Yep. Hawaii Dragon Star for $2. We have Disney wait times. What about Universal?
Oh, that's a great question. Vash, can we put you on that job while we do some of these super chats? Can you look up and see if you can pull Universal live wait times?
Yes, I can go ahead and see that right now. I will say wait times for the Universal parks have been a little bit lower, but I mean, even NBC Universal and all their executives have said, well, it's because of Epic Universe. So you have to take that into account as well.
Yeah,
so I'll go ahead and check those.
Vash is exactly right, folks, and we're not doing this to make any kind of defense. It's actually something that has been known for decades, is that when you prepare to launch a new expansion, theme park, land, whatever, your crowd levels the year prior are lower because people are waiting to go see your big expansion. So, for example, when Disney World prepared to launch Animal Kingdom the year prior, they had lower attendance because people wanted to wait and go to Animal Kingdom when they went to Disney. And so you're seeing that at Universal right now, too. People are waiting for Epic to go. You know, it's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land. 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you, At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.